Santa people, how are you doing? And welcome to another episode of Addicks Editions, my transfer series in which I talk about all of the latest signings that Charlton Athletic make over the course of the season. And it is a series that doesn't come out very often because the club can't sign many players due to a transfer embargo. It's not very often Charlton make signings nowadays, but when they do come, it's definitely a much needed positive considering the club's circumstances. On Tuesday, we secured our third signing of the summer, and I think it is our best one yet. We have completed the signing of Manchester United midfielder Dylan Levitt. The 19-year-old Welsh international joins the club on a season-long loan and will wear the number 23 for the 2020-21 season. And this is a much needed addition. Obviously, it's been a long time since the club signed players. Of course, the only other two signings we made so far this window are, of course, Alex Gilbey and Connor Washington. They've both come over. And now Dylan Levitt comes over on a loan, another Premier League youngster. So we'll start things off, as ever, by reading the club's statement, seeing what everybody has to say about the signing. Charlton have completed the signing of Dylan Levitt on a season-long loan from Manchester United. The midfielder, who made his international debut for Wales on Thursday, becomes Lee Bowyer's third signing of the summer and is set to train with his new teammates at Sparrows Lane this week. When asked what about the signing he was most impressed with, Bowyer explained, his passing. He doesn't give the ball away. As a midfielder, that is important. He keeps the ball at the right times and has the vision to open up any defence. I spoke to Nicky Butt at Manchester United. He said he's the best passer we have at the club. If Nicky tells me that he can pass, then I take his word for it. He's another good addition to the squad. He's a very good player. He's got talent and he's a Wales international. It just makes it more competitive for the players if you're bringing in international players. Levitt becomes the latest Premier League mill-o-knee to join the club under Bowyer and Steve Gallen. The youngster follows in the footsteps of Conor Gallagher, Christian Bielik and Josh Cullen, who all improved during their time at the Valley. Bowyer said, looking at it from the outside, it must be a good attraction to see their players here. Christian, Connor, Josh Cullen, then you've got players who have come through our academy that we've pushed on. Carlan Grant, Joe Aribo. We've done really well with young players. They all improve and go back better. Manchester United will be no different to any other club. That's what they want from us. The most important thing is we get him out on the training pitch and get him used to the players. We have to get a good balance of experience and the young lads. I have no doubt it will take him a little bit of time to settle in. Like with Connor, we'll have to be patient with him. With the experienced players we have, the Prattleys, the Pierceys, they'll help the young lads. On joining the Addicks, Levitt said, it feels amazing obviously. It's a big club, even though we are in League One, it's still a massive club, so it's a pleasure to be here. I've spoken to Lee a few times now. He's looking to be the best this season and get back into the Championship where Charlton belong. The Addicks, under an EFL embargo, are currently operating on a one-out, one-in basis, and Director of Football Steve Gallen was delighted to enter the squad following the departure of Tom Lockyer. He said, we're pleased to bring him in. Obviously, there has been a bit of a gap since the last two signings, Connor Washington and Alex Gilbey. We'd have liked to have brought someone in sooner, but we've had some restrictions. We were hoping to do this a few weeks ago, but because of the restrictions, we have had to wait for one to leave, but we're pleased to get Dylan in. He's very well respected at Manchester United. And now we get on to my thoughts of the signing. Now, obviously, this is the club's third edition of the transfer window. Alex Gilbey and Connor Washington coming beforehand, Levitt being the third. And as the statement said, and as I mentioned earlier, there was quite a gap between the signings coming in, and that of course is as a result of the club's current restrictions in place. Obviously, the way the transfer embargo operates is that we can sign players, but we can only offer up to £1,300 a week, and even when the restriction is lifted, we can only offer £2,000 a week anyway due to the new salary cap. So either way, Charlton are not going to be able to attract like the best of players, like massively quality players. But I think we've done well considering the circumstances that we've had. Obviously, bringing in Dylan Levitt, 19 years old, from Manchester United, who is very well respected there, very highly rated by Ryan Giggs and a lot of the people over there. According to Nicky Butt, as you saw there, he is the best passer at Man United, according to him. He did make his full Wales debut for the full national team at age 19, so he's definitely got something about him. And when you look at his CV like that, Man United, Wales international, you'd think, okay, if he's going to go out on loan, Championship at least, but to get him to League One is ridiculous, and I genuinely believe he will be the next Conor Gallagher. Obviously, Charlton have had a rich history of bringing in young Premier League players and making them better. Josh Cullen, Christian Bielik, the latest being Conor Gallagher. We can turn young players into superstars, and I believe Levitt will be no different. Of course, another restriction that the club is under is that we can't add any more players if we have 23 players registered to our squad. Now, this was something that come out recently. I genuinely believe the EFL were just making it up as they go along at this point, because this was never said when we were first under a transfer embargo. But yeah, when we have a 23-man squad, we can't sign anyone. So essentially, as Steve Gallen said, we are relying on a one player comes in and a one player comes out basis. That's how we were able to sign Dylan Levitt. We signed Dylan Levitt because of the departure of Tom Lockyer. Of course, if those of you don't know, Lockyer has, of course, completed his move to Luton Town in the Championship after he triggered his relegation clause in his contract. That's how we were able to bring in Levitt as Lockyer's replacement. Now, we do have 23 players. Obviously, if you take a look at our squad numbers, it does list 23 players. And it does include young players, the likes of James Vennings, Charlie Barker, Aaron Henry, Ashley Maynard-Brewer, all of which have impressed during the last previous games in pre-season and in the cup competitions that we've played in. They've played very well. In particular, Charlie Barker and James Vennings, they've been absolutely fantastic since coming into the squad. And to think that they've not really played much senior football in their career, in particular Barker, who hasn't played any. Levitt boosts our midfield substantially because we were very, very short in the midfield area. Obviously, before he came in, we'd had only 6 midfielders, 6 senior midfielders, that being Pratley, Morgan, Lapsley, Falstakaski, Oztuma, Williams, and then of course the 7th being Alex Gilby. But because of the restrictions in place with the 23 players, we've also got Ben Dempsey, James Vennings and Aaron Henry in that midfield. Levitt is now in as well, so according to all that, we do have 11 midfielders. So we've got a ridiculous amount of depth in the midfield now. However, there is not all that much quality in there. I know that could be quite insulting to some of the younger players like Vennings, Dempsey, Henry and players like that, but they are vastly inexperienced. They are still very, very young players and have never played a minute of senior football before. Levitt brings depth and quality to this team. Obviously, he has never played a minute of professional football before, like Conor Gallagher. He never played for Manchester United before. Like Conor Gallagher, he's coming into senior football as an unknown identity, has never ever played in senior football before, but has a very good CV. Manchester United rated very highly there, best passer there apparently, and most recently made his Wales debut aged 19. So he definitely is a quality player. And I genuinely believe so far he is our best signing of the window so far and is a much, much needed addition. I'm not too sure if he's going to start our first game of the season against Crewe. I think he'll definitely get minutes in our Carabao Cup tie against West Ham, but it's going to be interesting. I think we've got a really, really good player on our hands here. So that is it for this episode of Addicks Editions. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and turn on those post notifications so you're notified of when I post. We are so close to 2,500 subscribers. The last time I checked, we were 11 away. So if we can get to that, that'd be absolutely awesome. What do you guys think of the signing of Dylan Levitt? Let me know in the comments below. Welcome, Dylan, to Charlton. Welcome to the club as our 3rd signing on a season-long loan from Manchester United. I really do think he's going to be a quality player. He's going to add some much-needed quality to this team. Now, this will be the last episode of Addicks Editions for a little while yet, as of course we are still uncertain with the club's current status with the embargo. Of course, we're still under a lot of ownership speculation right now. Of course, Lex Dominus versus Panorama Magic. I'm speechless as to how that is still going on. Like, Elliot is denied an injunction and then a day later is then given an injunction and then given an extended one, then being granted an appeal without even winning the original verdict. You know, it's just so bizarre. And then of course there is Thomas Sandgaard and all that speculation. There is a lot of rumours to suggest that his deal is now done. So I'm not too sure when that will surface, if that will surface, but if that is to go through, then I'm assuming that the embargo will be uplifted and we can go full force and start kicking in with a lot of signings. This has been Tyler Runnington. Have a nice day, and I will see you all on Sunday for the first game of the League One season against Crewe Alexandra. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later.